we're very excited today to be able to thank our caregivers because you guys have done an amazing job, particularly the past year and a half. I know it's been very difficult for everybody, but thank you for all that you guys do. And we're very lucky to have Wanda Jackson here today to speak to and honor our caregivers. And in case you were wondering what CHAM stands for, it is Certified Healthcare Access Manager. So with that being said, Susan Belisi, our wonderful program director, is going to come back on and introduce Wanda properly. And we thank you, Susan, for everything you do.
Thank you. Thank you. And good morning. Welcome to Parkinson Power Hour. Today, it's a special day. It's a special day to present and give kudos to our caregivers. What a difficult job. We admire you. But it is a rewarding job. It's a true gift of love and respect. And every day you put yourself first. Every day you put your loved one, their needs first. But today we want to honor you and thank you for everything that you do for us. And that's why we're so lucky to have Wanda with us, Wanda Jackson, as Alex said. She also was a caregiver of a family member with PD. So she knows the needs and the demands, but she also knows the love and respect that goes along with this job. So thank you, Wanda, for coming today and presenting to our honored guests.
I so thank you for having me. There's nothing I would prefer to do over honoring our caregivers. They are such heroes. Honoring means to show great respect. And that's what we want to do, not just today, but we're going to give you the whole month of November as Caregivers Appreciation Month. So today I just want to speak more specifically to our caregivers, how they can improve the quality of their life as a caregiver. But in doing so, there's a lot of things in this talk, whereas the person with Parkinson's can pick up tips of things they can do to make that loved one who is helping caregive for them have quality of life as well. So let's get started honoring our caregivers and improving the quality of life. See if my mouse works to move it. Nope. And it was going so well. There we go. Maybe it's just a little slow. So first I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for your kindness, attention, and time. And for those who can't say thank you, we say thank you. For those that just don't say thank you, remember that this is part of the neurological disease. People with diseases get very focused on self. So maybe they don't say thank you or won't. So we're here today to say thank you for your patience, your compassion, and your dedication to everyone that's being taken care of by you. So patience, understanding, and flexibility. Those are three key words that every caregiver understands very, very well. Things are constantly changing, which takes patience, understanding, and flexibility. Your relationship with your loved one changes in ways you maybe never expected. Memory and body goes, not just for the person with PD, but we're all getting older too. And frustration ensues so often, especially with communication and fatigue. So the goal is to learn how to work with the challenges for the well-being of both partners. Tanya Hoffman is an SMH employee. She has a blog. I put the link to that below. But they have a condition, a disorder, and understanding how to work with the disease is key to caregiving. So my dad cared for my mom with Parkinson's, along with some help from the family and me. And the one thing I remember him saying is he couldn't remember the last time someone asked him, "How are you doing today?" He said, people always say, "How is your wife doing today?" And he's like, "What about me?" You know, caregivers have needs too. And when a caregiver's needs are not met, the caregiver will suffer and sometimes quickly deteriorate, which we don't want to happen, sometimes faster and more substantially than even the person we're caregiving for. So we're going to talk a little bit about this, the wheel of wellness that I have here on the next screen. We'll go back, hold on. We're going to talk about this again in a minute, though, I'm pretty sure. But the basic needs of humans are these emotional, physical, social, they're environmental, they're occupational, spiritual, financial, so many that we just have to address. So what can we do? What can a caregiver do to improve their quality of life? Well, you need to remember that you have to take care of your needs too. This is not selfish. And the little brown square there says, caring for yourself is not self-indulgent. It's an act of survival. So we want you to do more than survive, but it is an act of survival. So this is a no guilt zone. You may love being able to take care of your parent, your child, or your spouse. And it can be an overwhelming scope of doctor's appointments and medications and therapies. And then, of course, COVID really threw us into that isolation, which meant just two people sometimes in a home, and frustration, anxiety, uncertainty. The struggle is all real. And men and women deal with these demands differently. So this is kind of a general all for all, but I can answer questions about the differences too later on. So when a caregiver, though, takes care of themselves, just remember this, everyone benefits. That's why this is not self-indulgent. Everyone benefits. So what can a caregiver do to improve their quality of life? What does taking care of my own needs mean? Well, that's why I like this wellness wheel. It talks about all these different areas that as human beings, we need to address. All of them. Can't skip any of them, not even that creativity in the middle. We need to get our exercise. We need sleep. We need to eat well, eat healthy. We need to sleep well. Sleep disturbances, I know for my dad with my mom, she got up many, many times a night, and he wasn't getting those long periods of sleep for respite and for brain rest. And so he was being forgetful, and he was getting sick with fevers all the time. So as strange as it seems, our first in-home health person came 2 nights a week. And my dad had a real tough time at first understanding why he would pay someone to sit in the house while they were sleeping. But he would go to another room. He knew that my mom was taken care of with all those bathroom trips and rolling over at night. And he got 2 good solid nights of sleep. And I'll tell you, his health improved greatly. You need to stay social. Social is part of our human needs to have those friends and conversations and hugs. We need to continue to enjoy hobbies, maybe even look for a new hobby. Reading good books are wonderful because they can take you to another place in time that you can enjoy. Your brain needs to be worked, so you need to do things that challenge your mind. Enjoy Sudoku or crossword puzzles. Live mindfully. This is something everyone can do, and it does not take any extra time. I can in the morning get up, get in the shower, and I can spend my beautiful time with the warm water and nice soap. And I might be sitting there going, oh, I got to send that email. I got to call that person back, and I need to print this out, get gas in my car on the way. And all of a sudden, I have enjoyed that time at all. Well, while you get up in the morning and get in your shower, enjoy the feel of the shower, enjoy the scent of the soap. You cannot do anything for anyone at that moment in time. You want to enjoy your moments. Same thing with your meals. Don't gobble them down. Enjoy the taste of the broccoli and the salad dressing. You want to live mindfully. This is your life too. Laughter. They say laughter is the best medicine. We always feel better when we can laugh at ourselves, laugh at the circumstances, no matter what they are. Plan your future and work your plan. Now, this may include retirement and finances. It may include seeing an attorney, but you need to make a plan and then work your plan. And downtime, you do need a break. you have to have that time of downtime. Get your annual checkups. So this does not mean that you should not see your doctor for an annual physical. Make sure your medications are correct. Get your colonoscopy, mammograms, lab works done. Take time for yourself. Remember, this is survival. And you need to take care of any of your health needs, whether that's eating healthier because you have diabetes or taking your medications on time. It's very important that we take care of our special people with that title of caregiver. So that's me today. I'm taking care of you. You need to find ways to have quality time together. As things change, as the disease of Parkinson's progresses, it can be difficult to maintain the parent-child or the husband-wife relationships because it's changed. Things will look different depending on what's going on and who you're with. And there's also that problem then of stepping in and out of that relationship. Am I a caregiver? Am I a wife today? And it's not going to be day by day. It's going to be moment by moment. So in between those hard moments of caregiving, take time to enjoy your relationship, take time to live. You know, things like just today is a perfect example. It's gorgeous outside. It's a crime to be inside today or with your windows closed. Go find a nice spot and sit outside. Enjoy the weather, the trees, the skies, the birds. In the evenings, find something you enjoy. Do a puzzle, look at old photo albums, take a walk, sing, watch an old movie that you remembered and enjoyed. There's so many things. I recently got a record player from my husband for a gift. And I have all these records back from high school and college. And I have so enjoyed listening to the same ones again. Life, unfortunately, as a caregiver, can seem like a long to-do list. But living mindfully, taking those moments and enjoying them to live can make a world of difference for you and for your loved one. So live mindfully. This is always a tough topic because we know that no one can take as good a care of our loved ones as we can. But I want you to consider respite care. It's important to try a few things out now, maybe while you don't necessarily need it, for when something comes along that you do need it. And that could be for yourself. If you fall and twist an ankle and need surgery, someone's going to have to take care of your loved one. So you want to work a plan there as well. And you want to find those solutions and try them out. Have those numbers and circumstances all figured out okay already. I know no one can take care of them like you do, but they'll get good care. And that's going to be okay for that time. Because sometimes even just a break, it doesn't have to be an emergency. Sometimes a break is just what you need. And this next line, waiting too long can actually be more frightening, was actually shared with my family by our attorney who worked on our elder care process for my mom. She said that if we wait until the dementia has gotten too advanced to put my mom in a nursing home, she would be extremely frightened. And we see that when we go into nursing homes, people that aren't sure where they are and they're so unfamiliar. So we did make the decision, and she went into a nursing home, which was very, very difficult. But as things progressed, she knew her surroundings. She understood the circumstances. She had none of those fears that were frightening. So we don't want, it's such a hard thing to figure out where that line is. But waiting too long can actually be more frightening for your loved one. So I know we're trying to do the best for them, and we think staying home is always the best. But there comes a point where you may have to consider respite care or long-term care. And again, this is no guilt zone. I mean, when my kids were little, I loved getting a little respite care and getting someone to come in to make sure they were safe. And caregivers, you can say, Wanda said I had to do this. You can take this time and get a little respite care too. In-home respites are available, and I'm sure Susan and Alex can help you with that, knowing places, and short-term care nursing facilities. A lot of times they'll take your loved one on like a 3 to 5 a day respite time. And that's a great way to check out facilities as well. And I say, check out options and give it a try. And I say, consider it, but what I mean is do it. Just give it a try, go and do it. The fourth thing here under improving the quality of life for a caregiver is to recognize those signs of caregiver burnout and the stress that comes with it, the job. If you can recognize the steps and signs ahead of time, you can make changes to avoid some catastrophe. So some signs of stress and burnout are irritability. You just can't be calm anymore. You're just so irritated. Sleep problems, sleeping too much or not being able to sleep or stay asleep. And I'll tell you, nothing affects your memory and forgetfulness as much as sleep problems. You have to have your sleep. You have to have good sleep. So we want to manage the stress and we want to make changes so we can avoid this caregiver burnout, again, in the best interest of both parties, avoid this caregiver burnout for everybody's benefit. So stress can sneak in. It can be tiny little things that just are the last straw that break the camel's back. But we want to try to identify some of those sources of stress. It can be too much to do, too little to do, the isolation. It can be family disagreements. These happen in all kinds of families. How can you put dad in a nursing home? How can you spend the money on a caregiver to come in and help? Why did he not get his medication? And you have disagreements. We have disagreements without the whole process of caregivers. So we want to manage those disagreements, the feelings of guilt and inadequacy. Support groups are wonderful for this. You start to realize I'm not the only one that gets frustrated. I'm not the only one who feels inadequate or has all this guilt on my shoulder. And support groups give ideas how to handle the way someone else handled it, things to say, things to do. It's wonderful. Some people have an inability to say no. No, I can't do that. No, we can't go there. No, that's not a good appointment time. And others have an inability to say yes. Yes, we can come to that physical therapy. Yes, we can make that doctor's appointment. So say yes to help, but say no sometimes to doing more. And a great way to alleviate some of that feelings of guilt and inadequacy are to identify, maybe even make a list, things I can't change, things I can change. And that way you know that you're not responsible for changing things that simply can't be changed. Once you get these lists and once you identify these problems, the next step should be the easiest, but quite often it's the most difficult, is then to take action. Actually put your plan in action. And this action plan is going to be different for each one. That's why it's good to seek out help from an advisor, someone in the Parkinson community that can work with you, a nurse, your doctor. Maybe take that wellness wheel and go through it and check off, each week what you've managed to do on the wellness wheel. And if you notice that for 3 weeks you haven't had any social interaction, you need to circle that on your wellness wheel and go get a cup of coffee with a friend. If it's been 2 years since you had lab work and taken care of you physically, circle that and go get that done. And I will say, one thing that I have seen help so many caregivers is professional counseling. Sometimes that includes even medications for that stress and anxiety, but they are really good at helping identify your stress triggers and the things that you can do for them. So I highly recommend that as well. I must be talking fast. We're going to have lots of time for questions. Caregivers are heroes. I want to say that up front. We appreciate you. We love you. It could not be done without you. Our system as a whole is not set up to take care of every single person that needs help. So we rely on our caregiver. So a good laugh and a long sleep are two of the best cures for anything. So take notice of that and use those. I love this saying by Rosalind Carter, because we all fall into one of these four categories. She took care of President Carter for a long time. So she knows what she's talking about. There are only four kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver. So I think that covers us all. My caregiver mantra is to remember the only control you have is over the changes that you choose to make. That's where that action plan comes into focus. I hear people all the time who are talking about grocery shopping and making meals. And there are changes we can make. We can get Meals on Wheels. We can order from restaurants. We can have groceries delivered. You don't need to get everyone's shoes tied and in the car and walk through a grocery store. For like $5, you can have Walmart and Publix deliver your groceries right to your front door. If you like to get out, maybe grocery shopping is your pleasure. But I'm just saying, in that list of things you can't change and can change, if that is a stress factor, make a change and then choose to make it. No one can make these choices for you. This is another one by Lena Horne, the singer. It is not the load that breaks you down. It's the way you carry it. So often people choose to keep everything in their own pocket of that load on their own shoulders. My mom had a saying, when people would offer, here's the example. Back when I was having kids, we would take meals to other young mothers who had a baby. And I loved taking meals to other mothers and dropping it off or seeing the baby, whatever. But when I had my kids, I said, no, we've got it covered. We're fine. We don't need it. And my mom, who had come to stay with us, said, why do you do that? And I said, because I don't want to, burden anybody else. We got this. And she goes, but don't you love helping and taking? I said, oh, I do. Absolutely. She says, you feel so blessed and it makes you happy to take a meal. And I said, yes, it does. And she goes, then why are you stealing that blessing from others who want to help you? You're robbing them of that euphoria of being helpful and that happiness that comes with it. So have some things that you need help with. Who's a good lawn maintenance guy? Can I bring over a meal? Sure, we can't have this or this, but anything else would be fine. And if they say, well, what night is good? Give them a night. Don't steal their blessing by just saying, no, thank you. Let them do something for you. We had friends and the husband had Parkinson's and he loved watching the Rays baseball game. And we said, well, can my husband come over and hang out with your husband some night and we'll go watch a movie? And so one night I had to convince her because she said, no, you don't need to be inconvenienced by that. And it was no inconvenience. So one night her and I went and watched a movie and we left the guys home to watch the baseball game together. But you can't carry the whole load by yourself. So find those places to mindfully make choices to unload some of that burden. It can be a lot of fun. Here's another example. My mother could no longer drive. Reflexes were a little slow, and it was perfect timing. My daughters were in high school. And so my mom started allowing them to drive her like to Bell's when she needed new clothes. And she felt like she was such an inconvenience, but they loved it because she'd always buy them a Wendy's Frosty afterwards, or maybe they got a new t-shirt in the deal while she was getting clothes. But after my mom passed away, I will say that those were some of my kids' best memories with their grandma. What my mom considered an inconvenience to us has lived long past her with the joy of the memories for my kids. So we don't want to always have it in our heads that because we need a little help, we're inconveniencing people. And the last little quote on here is, worry never robs tomorrow. Worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only robs today of its joy. Caregivers, we want you to have joy in your life. We want that joy then to fill you up, make your life valuable and interesting and healthy and happy. Because when you have that joy, don't let worry rob it, because when you have it, it then overspills and overflows into the people that you're caregiving for and your friends and your family. So those are my big quotes, and I hope some of the examples have helped. And I am happy at this point to give the screens back and to let you ask any questions or share. Oh, one more screen. I wanted to give one more screen here. I do have on this PowerPoint some websites that may be helpful. They're not all just Parkinson related, but again, we're honoring our caregivers. And I know caregivers, we're all aging too. So that we have free memory screenings at Sarasota Memorial, either the website or the phone number, as dementia, and there's Alzheimer's. We have a website for that. The Family Caregiver Alliance is just simply caregiver.org. The Health and Aging Foundation.org is another great resource, along with Parkinson Place, the educations. You can just never get too much support and too much education. Not in my book, at least.
Okay, I think Dusty's going to invite everybody to come on at this point.
Good.
So we can, if anybody would like to come on, and if they have any questions, thank you. I love the part where you said this is a no guilt zone, because I think as caregivers, we tend to feel that way. And so we appreciate.
Every caregiver has felt that way at one point or another. I think every mother has, every father has, every employee has tried to be better, more, I think that's universal.
Right, exactly. So we appreciate that. And sometimes we just need validation of what we're all feeling. And that's why I ask everyone to join in our caregivers group, which is on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. And it's facilitated by Pam Pulowski. And we just have such a wonderful group of caregivers that I just truly am honored to be with. And I think we all feel that way in the group. We are just a source of information for each other, because all of us are going through different stages of the disease with our loved one. We are there for each other. We get it. And we truly respect and admire each other. We like each other's company. So even on the third Thursday every night at 7:30, it's getting to know us, where we get a chance to talk about ourselves. We kind of kid around saying there's no PD that night. And we just learn about each other, and we've learned so much what we've done through our lives too. So please
it's an
join
amazing way. I think it's an amazing way to reduce stress. There's an example. We had a support group at one point, and they had gone home for the holidays, and it was a plane trip, and she had a terrible time with her husband in the restroom and getting in and off of the plane. And she started this story out in tears and frustrations. But as it went on, because everyone was relating, it ended up, we laughed and laughed and laughed. And she said, I wish I had seen the humor at the time, but it wasn't until she kind of let it out that it became comical in a way. Like if it had been a movie, it would have been hysterical. But because she was the caregiver, it was stressful.
Right, exactly. My late brother, he was his profession, he was a psychiatrist. And we would talk, and obviously he would talk and say, how's Craig? How's Craig? So I said, yeah, you know the journey. And he said, I just want to say something, Susan. Not that you're my sister, or I've known you obviously because he was 10 years older than me. He goes, it's not Craig's journey, it's your journey. And he said,
Yes.
I have seen you grow into this amazing person. You were an amazing sister, a little girl, but this is your journey. You've grown up, you've seen what life is really like, and you took this journey, and you let it blossom yourself, how strong you've got. And I always thought about that, and that's why I love all and think you're all such heroes, because it is your journey, and what you've done is incredible, and what you continue to do, because we know this disease is a disease of longevity. We do it for years, and I just want to say how much I admire you all for what you do and how you do it. So if there's any questions or anything that you'd like to say.
And if there's not, I was just going to quickly go over all the wellness wheel issues, all the different components to it. But I didn't want to cut any questions short.
Does anybody have?
Can
any
anybody hear
questions?
me? Hello?
Yes, Jack. Yes, Jack, go ahead.
I can't seem to see the screen. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Well, Susan does have my PowerPoint, and if she has your email, she's welcome to forward the email to you.
Well, I'd like to see and participate, but
Jack, you'd have to go in the bottom left where there's a little video, and you probably have that, has a red light through it. Just click the little video camera down at the bottom at the left.
I don't see any video camera.
It's next to the mute. There's mute and then video.
No, I must be on the wrong screen. This is very, very aggravating.
That's why we want to see people in person so desperately. We're getting close. We're getting closer.
Exactly.
This is just really bad.
I think you're okay, Jack. We, like I said, like Wanda said, I do have the videos. We do hear you. We know that you're there. Jack takes care of his brother who has PD, and
Okay.
he's doing a great job. So we honor you too, Jack.
Jack,
Thanks.
I just sent you a request to start your video.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Dusty's gonna help you. Just
Okay, just hit that.
Ta-da! Hi, Jack.
We see you.
Oh,
there you are.
you see me? I can't see anything.
Oh,
We see your lovely living room.
right.
So I have a question.
Yes, Rob.
Well, I'd like to get on like the rest of you. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Well, Jack, we're gonna keep going, Jack, okay? We're under a time limit, but
Okay.
one day I will sit with you or Zoom with you, and we will go over all this stuff, okay?
Okay,
I have-
I'm gonna tune out, but when you have the in-person visits, I would definitely go to those because
Well, we're hoping for the beginning of next year. That's the goal.
okay.
That's
well,
our
thank
goal
you very
too.
much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Robert, did you, I think you were saying something.
Yes, I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and my wife is my caregiver. She's the most wonderful person in the world. And
Aw.
I just want to try one thing. I know there's a lot of things I might be able to do, but is there one try and true way that I can do something for her that would make her less stressed out and more happy?
Well, everybody's going to be individual on that. Some people love to cook, so the cooking is just their pleasure and you don't want to take it away. But if she doesn't like to cook, ordering meals in or a meal service like the Hello Fresh or something can be as wonderful as a bouquet of flowers. If cleaning is not something she enjoys, maybe once a month, a full cleaning service. But I think what tends to get overlooked more than anything, and it's just the most simple thing, is just to remember to say thank you with a smile.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank yous go a long way.
I will. Thank you.
Yes,
Yep.
down a question earlier, and I don't know if you were able to read that, I think before the meeting started. Do you see where questions have been sent in?
Yes, I don't know if everyone else can see that. Renee put in,
Yeah. My question is, I have no idea whether it's very difficult. I purchased a home right behind me because nobody wanted to buy it. It was so close to our house. There was no backyard. My realtor friend convinced me to purchase it as an investment. And I did, and I've been fixing it up, and I made the bathroom handicapped accessible, and I thought, well, I would rent it out until I needed it for my husband Warren, who has Parkinson's. As long as I can keep care of him, I'll keep him in my home. But the future down the road is to put him in that house instead of a nursing home. My question is, how difficult is it to possibly find caregivers, a couple that might move in the house? It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath home with a garage, all one floor. I'm just trying to make it as accessible to Warren as possible. So yeah, again, my question is, are there people here in Sarasota that would fit that bill of being a?
Yes, and depending on the level of services he needs, the skill involved, is he a big man? Does he need a lot of lifting? Is he incontinent? And as progress all those issues, sometimes it starts out with a non-certified person. I know for my mom, we started out by having a cleaning lady came in because she was still able to motate around and do things, but my dad didn't want to leave her alone. And then it progressed into more specific services. So sometimes it's not a once and for all kind of thing. And with the way it is these days, it's really hard to fill employees for any job. Now, coming with a place to live might be a huge incentive. Again, though, there's a lot of agencies, and the more skilled you get, the more things cost. And through an agency, of course, they're going to have background checks and they're going to have liability coverage. So you might need to try a couple different avenues until you feel comfortable. You may want to also, this is just an aside, set up a couple security cameras. You want to make sure you know what's going on, at least until you really know.
Yeah, okay.
There's not one solid call this number kind of answer, unfortunately. And you're not going to really get the answer to that question until you're ready to do it, to make the move.
You know, and I wouldn't even know what organization to go to. I mean, the Parkinson's Place building, would they have people?
I'm sure Susan has maybe lists. Otherwise, I have lists of different agencies as well.
yeah, Renee, I can help you tomorrow if you like.
Perfect.
Good.
Just a quick cut in for you guys. If you are still listed as an attendee and you have a question you'd like to ask, please just raise your hand digitally and I will promote you to a panelist so that you can be seen and ask your question. Because some people have not responded to the request to become a panelist, so.
Okay. I didn't even know that. Still learning with Zoom and webinar.
See, there's that little hand at the bottom here. I'll raise my hand. Oh, see my little hand go up? Then I can lower my hand.
Well, if anybody would like a question or would like to say anything, please feel free at this point. I know Shireen put in the box thanking us for support groups and how much it helps her immensely. And Robin I see Robin shaking her head. So
I'm just going to go quickly then and list each of the things on the wellness wheel. So as caregivers, these are every single one. It's a wheel because each piece of this pie is equally important. So emotionally, you know, those friends you can share with, family, if you can have that emotional support is wonderful. Physical, that means getting your exercise, drinking your water, taking your medications, getting your annual doctor's appointment. Social, cultural, if you want to watch cultural programs on TV, if you love going to museums and walking around Ringling, I love Ringling, the house has got wonderful information, seeing movies. Intellectual, we all need to work our brain. That's what staves off some of that dementia and stuff, is brain exercises. So things that are stimulating. Spiritual, I cannot tell you, there was a study done by those who came into the hospital that have a spiritual connection, that their hospital stays are on an average 3 days shorter. And I know if you come into our hospital, they always ask you, would you like a chaplain to visit you? But you need to take care of the brain and the soul. Financial, I will tell you, that's a huge stressor for people. They always talk about it being the number one stressor of a new marriage. Well, it's a number one stressor for a caregiver, especially when your jobs maybe for your whole marriage have been compartmentalized. So my mom always handled all the finances, not my dad. And so when she no longer could do that, it became a stressor for my dad to go back and figure out those components. So before things get bad, if one or the other knows where all the bank accounts and passwords and investments are, find those things out for yourself. Occupational. This is, if you were an engineer before, find a way that you can continue to pass on good knowledge and be involved in your industry, or find a new passion, change passions and find something occupational. The volunteers are needed everywhere. We could not run our outpatient services in our hospital without volunteers. A lot of nurses like Carolyn, I know, and there's a lot of people with background in medical, but you don't have to have it. We need people at the hospital when like flowers are delivered, that we have someone to take them up to the room and deliver the flowers. I mean, what a fun job, making people happy by delivering flowers. We have out here at Clark Road, golf cart drivers. So people who have a harder time walking in the parking lot, we have a golf, that's what he does. What a beautiful day. He's out there transporting people in a golf cart today. Environmental, you want to make that home a happy place. You want to enjoy the flowers, the plants, breathe that fresh air. Get up in the morning and open the blinds. I see Ginger's got her blinds open. You need to start your day with some sunshine. And then in the middle of all that is creativity. There's something in our minds, brain, soul, intellectual that feeds on creativity. You don't have to do something well if you enjoy it, whether it's beads or painting or learning to play the piano, something creative that kind of feeds that desire as well. And I'll tell you, if you can take and check off the components on this wheel, at least like once a week, and then 2-3 weeks go by and you're missed like physical, you haven't taken a walk and gotten outside, you need to circle that one and make it a priority for the new week. That's one way we can take care of our wonderful caregivers.
Okay.
And if you're the patient, just remember, if the other spouse says, I'm going for a walk, that you want to encourage that, because you want to encourage a happy and healthy caregiver, because that's what's going to play best for everybody. So instead of saying, oh, don't leave, don't go now, can you wait? Say, enjoy your walk. We'll see you in a bit.
That's great. Thank you. I have something that I'd like to read as we end this. And again, thank you, Wanda, it's always good to see you. It's always good for you to be with us. And thank you for, putting on the presentation.
It's always my pleasure. Anytime.
Thank you. Dear caregiver, honoring you, your giving, your caring, you're stronger than you thought. Honoring you, your day, your sacrifice, your talents that cannot be taught. Recognizing you, your strength, your passion, you have such a beautiful gift to share. Recognizing you, your feelings, your selflessness, we are so grateful that you are always there. Your sight, your might, we can finally let down our guard. Your gift, your heart, we know this is so hard. I'm getting emotional, sorry. Thank you for sincere love and offering your strength to others. Thank you for caregiving to our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, and our mothers. Thank you.